All right, and second special presentation we have from folks from our new and improved Thousand Oaks Teen Center. Who's going to be presenting here?
Are we gonna do a wait?
Got to make some fun here.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Summer's coming.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This would be used. This would be used in the pool. Yeah, that's what I thought they were gonna do. I thought they were gonna be like doing the wave out there. Yeah, that'd be funny. Yeah. Oh, look at that. You better check.
I just have one push. I'll just have to do it. If you just go to my name or screen. Good evening. Chair Heffer, members of the board, Canada Recreation Park District Administration, and from what I could see, lots of pickleball players. Welcome. Good evening. My name's Sarah Dobb. I'm the director of the Thousand Oaks Teen Center. And with me tonight, I have Mr. Jay Dodwell, recreation coordinator. And then we also have a guest speaker, John, who will introduce at the end of my little spiel. Go ahead. So tonight we're going to talk about something that we do at the Teen Center. The Thousand Oaks Teen Center, in partnership with the Conejo Valley Unified School District, provides the only school organized sports programs for the middle school level where each school competes against each other, known as the Middle School Sport League program. 25 years ago, two schools wanted to put together a boys basketball team to play each other, and the Teen Center was asked to be the host location. The principals served as the coaches in what turned out to be an incredibly competitive game. The gym was at capacity with rowdy students and parents. The score was close the whole way through, leading to the players on the edge of their seats, hoping for that championship title. After the game, Teen Center staff and two principals knew they had created something special. Over the next few years, additional schools joined in. Scorekeeping and rules were implemented, resulting in a true league format. At the end of each school year, Teen Center staff would host a league evaluation meeting to discuss what went well and what they could improve on for future years. The Teen Center continued to cooperatively offer boys basketball for the fall in the next 2 to 3 years. Girls basketball was added in the winter season, all the while evaluating and refining rules and guidelines to make it as fair and enjoyable as possible. A component was even eventually incorporated that rewards proper behavior from players, coaches, and parents. At the conclusion of it, each season, staff, referees, and scorekeepers decide on one school to receive that sportsmanship award. The chosen team receives t-shirts for demonstrating the developed criteria the best. Over the next decade, the leagues expanded. Girls and boys basketball was offered in both the 7th and 8th grade levels. The games were extremely well attended and incredibly competitive. About the year 2000, middle schools all added gymnasiums to their campuses, and that would then serve as the practice sites for all of these teams. Additional sports were added over the years and continue now are the basketball, girls and boys volleyball, co-ed volleyball, boys and girls soccer, and co-ed golf, all over the fall, winter, and spring seasons. The success of the Middle School League is due to it being cooperatively. CVUSD has continued an active role in its development. Principals and school staff can always be seen at the Teen Center for the games. And any rule changes are always discussed with Teen Center staff and school district staff. So you may be asking, how does the Teen Center benefit? First, we offer the gym. Students are introduced to the facility and what it has to offer. It also gives parents an inside view of where their teens may be hanging out. We have a wide audience to promote future programming to. 3 teams that receive team t-shirts as awards at the end of the season, wear them around town to promote the Teen Center and the leagues. And last, there is a revenue benefit. The schools each pay a team fee for each sport for each season. It's $300 and it covers t-shirts, referees, and professional scorekeepers. Some schools have funded jerseys, but most will wear their school PE t-shirts. Schools individually formulate their teams. They actually hold tryouts, and yes, they do actually cut some students from the teams. And then they organize weekly practices, and then the Teen Center hosts the games on a weekly basis. Prior to each season, we host a coach meeting to ensure rules are reviewed and take any schedule requests. We also use a website called quickscores.com, and that's where we post schedules and scores, and that's also viewable to the public. And then at the start of each sports season, the Teen Center staff always review the expectations with the players and coaches, and then they get team photos, and a lot of the schools use the photos for their yearbooks. To give you an example of how big the program has gotten this school year, 2022-2023, we have had 59 total teams serving approximately 740 middle school students. The benefits of student participation in league play are endless. Student athletes develop a sense of pride and school allegiance that usually wouldn't begin until the high school level. Within the past 10 years, each school now has hung banners in their gyms displaying league championships. And at some schools, rallies are held at lunchtime to celebrate recent team accomplishments. Of course, this doesn't go down without creating lots of memories, laughter, and fun, all having to do with the Teen Center. And we know it will continue and offer a lot more for the future. I would now like to pass it on to Jay.
Okay, good evening, everyone. We have a little bonus to our presentation tonight. We have a guest speaker, and John McFadden's going to come on and talk. And just a little background on John, he's sitting behind me. He has volunteered for Sycamore Canyon Middle School, coaching basketball and volleyball for them for the last 7 years. So anybody that's coached knows how much time goes into coaching, and he lives in Newberry Park at Sycamore Canyon, traveling to the Teen Center at that time after school, the 23 freeway. Everybody's familiar with that traffic. Practices, a lot of time puts in. Is that why we asked him to come speak tonight? No. It's the way that John coaches is what's really key. He really brings out the spirit of the Teen Center leagues and the way he really holds up sportsmanship. When we talk to the kids before each game, we always go sportsmanship's up here, winning down here. He really exemplifies that characteristic, and we're really happy to have him. Sycamore, I'm sure, is really happy as well. So let me turn it over to John. He's going to say a few words here.
Good evening, everyone, on this May the 4th be with you day. What a fun day to be speaking to you. I appreciate it. So I am here to talk about middle school sports, but before we get there, let's talk a little bit about an alien planet known as high school, because it all starts there. And entering high school is kind of like playing Pac-Man, if you remember that game from back in the day. Except now when you get to high school, the ghosts in the Pac-Man game, they're all wearing pajamas, the Pac-Man has acne, and the kids, they're all waiting to play while they're vaping and yelling at their grandma could beat your high score. I mean, it's just all nuts when you get to high school. It is. It's tough. It's tough as a middle schooler trying to make that transition. There is nothing easy about it. But kids need to find their thing. And their thing is what will get them through high school. Everyone's thing is different. For some kids, it could be chess club, band, ASG, dance, drama, choir, and for some, it's sports. The goal is to find like-minded individuals that share your passion. It's more important than ever for them to have a positive and healthy outlet. This is the beginning of figuring out who they are. So with that, I'd like to read a letter that one of my players, basketball players last year wrote to me after our season. She says, Coach John, thank you so much for such an awesome season. You were probably the best coach I've ever had, and I've had quite a few. You never yelled at us like some of the other coaches of the other teams did. And instead, you kept us encouraged. You made playing basketball as fun as possible, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. You taught me a lot, and with your guidance, I feel like I improved. I looked forward to basketball so much that during the day, it crawled by at a subatomic speed, but it was worth it. I loved it, loved it, loved it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, I mention that because there's three things in that letter that to me are really important. One is the not yelling. And I see that as a coach, I see that way too much. I see the coaches get into it at a level that is just not productive. It's not conducive to that kid finding the passion in that sport that they're there for, whatever the sport is. It's all about encouraging a love of that sport, whatever that sport is, making it fun. Yeah, duh, sounds like such a simple thing, but it's not. It's not. We have to remind ourselves that the kids are there to have fun, first and foremost. And third, she mentioned subatomic speed. Well, I say that jokingly because what she really means is that's her thing. Her thing is basketball. That's why she's there, and she found her thing. That girl, by the way, went on to try out for the Newbury Park High School team and made the team, which to me is absolutely the best reward I've ever seen. So my philosophy is to encourage a love of the game, teach new skills, and show what teamwork and competition is all about. Winning is a byproduct of learning, competing, and being a team player. A byproduct. It's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to encourage the love of the game and have fun. So imagine the first day of high school being analogous to the first time you walked into Costco. It's huge. So many new things, new smells, new people, temptations at every turn, samples of things you've never tried. Probably you shouldn't try some of these. People using peer pressure to make you try solar, water conditioning, cell service. It can be overwhelming, just like the first few days of high school. And you know, middle school is a time for change. It's a big, huge time for change for people. They're going through puberty, making new friends, trying to figure out who they are. And it's during this time that it's more important than ever for them to have positive and healthy outlets. Sports can provide that outlet. They can help young people stay physically active, which of course helps their health and well-being. It can also help them develop important life skills, teamwork, discipline, and leadership. They learn how to interact with others, resolve conflict, and how to be a good sport. All qualities that will help them navigate this strange new alien world they're going to enter called high school. So all of you, as was mentioned before, are benevolent leaders. You are the benevolent leaders of an advanced civilization that's here to help kids. And thankfully, you sent down two fantastic emissaries in Jay and Sarah. They're there to help these kids, to foster these kids, to find their thing, to navigate this new alien world they're about to enter. And that is high school. So with that, thank you, and may the fourth be with you.
Thank you, John. I know questions, comments?
Questions or comments? Yes, Director Buss.
So I really appreciate this as my oldest will be going into 6th grade next
Okay.
year. And we toured Sequoia and she was super intimidated. So I have a couple questions. I actually brought along one of her little friends when we toured the school and they mentioned the sports. and the little girl asked why they didn't have softball. Why do we not do softball or baseball?
Well,
Too much competition with the other clubs going on, or?
the school district has approached us recently to add some additional sports. That was not one of them. It was actually tennis or cross country, but resources, to be honest with you.
Okay. Okay. And then is this open to sixth graders or only
So
seventh and eighth?
sixth graders can be on teams, so they could play up on a seventh or eighth grade team. We don't have sixth grade teams because a lot of times they don't have as many kids to play,
Yeah.
and we don't play older kids down.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then does it cost money for the student to play on these teams?
Absolutely free. So
that's
the
great.
money that pays, I mean, we're basically breaking even on, we're not making money off of it. We're providing a space and, a collaboration with the school district. The schools, actually provide the funding, and, the only thing that the kids have to do is try out and sign waivers.
Oh,
So
that's
they don't
great.
pass any fees on to them.
That's really great. And for John, I'm coaching my first soccer game on Saturday. So I'm going to use the sportsmanship up here and winning down here. And then also the no yelling. My daughter just completed chorus and she doesn't want to do it again because she said the
The
teacher
instructor
yelled
yells.
at them all the time. So it was really sad. So thank you for pointing that out too. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
It is obviously in the middle school level, back when the sports were developed, when the league was developed, club teams and, higher level play wasn't as popular or as pushed. So now middle schoolers are being more pushed to be that higher level and get the skills ready to go for high school level and be on club teams and, put all this effort into it. So it is getting competitive, but we still try to maintain the entry level beginning type league and, please have fun philosophy.
I love it.
And we do have rules where we don't have the typical rules that you would have like in high school. Every player has to play a certain, certain something depending upon the sport. And that's up to the coaches to decide, or up to the coaches to keep track of.
Thank you, Director Cusworth.
So I think you answered one of my questions. I was wondering where you fit in with city leagues. So the city has basketball leagues, I assume, like baseball leagues that they have, or is there no middle school outlet for basketball for?
There's CYBA, but those are outside of school. These are school organized. So they're representing their school.
Okay. So you're in addition to those city leagues?
Yes.
And you're also free?
Yes.
So is one of the ideas I was wondering for yours to be, you were talking about that people will go to club teams and things of that sort, more for kids who wouldn't be playing for city leagues, or is it just kind of an organic thing that happened that the schools wanted to have? School teams, like the high school has school teams, so they wanted the middle schools to have school teams.
I mean, this was 25 years ago it was developed. So
Okay.
I'm assuming I was not at the teen center then, but Jay was. So Jay might have.
So
Jay
did
might have a little bit more history of
So
that, but I'm
did-
assuming there was, club wasn't as popular as it is now. So it might not have been an option for play.
What's the question?
Well, did the schools approach you because they wanted to have school sports teams, but they couldn't really manage it? And so they wanted to use your facility, or is this something that you thought of and you approached the schools? And then I was wondering how that fit in with all of the city leagues. Like she was saying, they don't have softball and they don't have soccer. Do you have soccer?
Yeah, we do soccer.
You have soccer also, because I thought we have a huge soccer, city leagues here. I was just wondering how this all came about when we have youth sports. What was the impetus for this?
In Sarah's speech, there were two principals that brought teams to the teen center. I reffed that game. I was the ref. So that's when it started. And from there, it's just, there's been an interest. Students let their principals know what they want. Principals come to us, we form a team, but just as far as softball or I mean, softball is pretty big on a youth level here in Conejo Valley. So really haven't had that brought up to us, but
Okay, so it was the schools that came to you and said, we need something.
And back then, the schools didn't have gymnasiums. We had
Okay.
the gym.
Okay,
So, yeah, so the schools didn't add their gyms till I think about
yeah, 2000.
So, when the leagues first were or when we were approached at the teen center, we had the gym for them to play.
I see. And then we were talking about practices. So he's coming from Newbury Park to practice. Do all of the kids come to practice at the teen center, or do they also practice at the
No, I meant
schools?
he was coming to the games.
Oh, it was the games
He
he's
has
coming to.
practices in his own gym at Sycamore.
Okay, so that was my question. It
Yeah.
sounded kind of like he was coming on, so I didn't know how you were managing that many practices, so.
Yeah, now that they have gyms on school campuses, the practices are all organized through the school and their coaches. And they just come to the teen center for their actual competitive games.
So do you have all volunteer coaches?
The schools either, they offer stipends, I believe, to coaches, or their volunteers or staff.
Oh, okay. Great, thank you. It sounds like a wonderful program. And thank you for the balls.
Director Nichols.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just was curious. I see a lot of the, whether it be the sports activities or just activities in general that the Park District offers, it's almost like an incubator. You're getting either providing facility or providing instruction or opportunities for youth, kids, even adults to learn something that they don't already know. And I was wondering, with this middle school program, do you find that these are kids who are already competitive and playing basketball and they just want to do it for their school? Or are they a little more inquiring, as John was saying, looking for their thing and thought, hey, I think I'll try this out and see if I like it. And it's a, comfortable, welcome opportunity at the teen center with people that they know, not too threatening. I was wondering how you find what type of kid is actually showing up to these teams.
Both, to make it a quick answer, but there's different schools have different amounts of kids that want to play. Like, for instance, Kalina Middle School, they have probably like 40 or 50 boys in each grade, 7th and 8th grade, that try out for the team.
Wow.
So in some cases, like if we had an extra night of the week, we would be able to field numerous teams. But during the fall, for instance, we're every day of the week, we're playing every night from 4 to 9. So
Wow. Okay.
busy times.
All right.
Busy's good. Busy is good.
John,
I can probably
being a
answer
coach
that,
and working with the
so
students.
as an example, there's a 7th grade co-ed volleyball team that I'm coaching right now. 10 players on the team. One of those players has touched and played the game of volleyball before. The other 9 are absolutely brand new to the sport, and they're there because they thought it was something that could be their thing. So they try out and they fall in love with the game. And of course, they will hopefully continue down. On basketball, kind of the same deal. And our little 7th grade girls basketball team won the little championship through all the schools recently. And of that, 2 of them play outside of the school, and all the rest of them are just kids that just love the game of basketball and want to learn and do and pursue it down the road somewhere.
Mhm.
So as the girl that wrote that note, when I mentioned that it's fantastic for me that she made the or the JV team at Newbury Park, so did 4 of the other girls from that same team. So at Newbury Park, I coach with my daughter the Frosh-Soft volleyball team. And I would see those basketball players come into practice after our practice. Nothing could touch my heart more than when they would come up to me and say, "Hi, coach," and want to just acknowledge that I see them there and that they continued in the sport they love. And this is their thing. They love for me to just see them there in the gym doing their thing at a level beyond what I took them to.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that, because we're in this very competitive youth sport level where if you don't have your kid at 10 years already with multiple years of experience and going to all these specialties for coaching, whatever their expertise is, that they're not going to get to the next level. And then it kind of pushes away the kids who just want to explore and learn. So I'm happy to hear that. Thank you.
And that is, I mean, the parents don't have to pay, thousands of dollars. The kids are representing their school. They're playing with their friends. And it's not as competitive
Mhm.
as the other outside teams that they may be playing for.
Thank you.
Director Lang.
Yes, I want to piggyback on a comment that Sarah made about this age. Our kids in this age group just getting out in these new environments and the new challenges. And one of the activities that our board participates and administrators too participates in is the Youth Commission Forum, where we go and interact with the teens on the various tables and
Oh, yeah, that's the summit that they have every 2 years.
anyway,
Uh-huh.
very beneficial for especially the older adults to really hear these kids talk about the issues and so forth. And the one I'm just gonna briefly mention, one of the events they talked about, the topic was bullying. You hear about bullying in various different degrees and different types and so forth. But this one young girl who was in middle school was so distraught because at lunchtime she would have meat in her sandwich. That was her thing. Her parents prepared her lunch with the meat sandwich. And she was bullied by 3 other girls during lunchtime who obviously didn't eat meat and so forth. And she was so upset, and I had a little conversation with her after our little session. And I said, well, if that's something you like, stick with it, no matter what it is. It's important to you, and don't let these other kids, upset you to the degree that you are right now. So this teen center that we have and the various programs, sports that we're hearing a lot about, is so important for these kids. So keep up the good work. I know you've got many programs at the teen center, and we're just very, our communities benefited from the teen center for all these years. And so keep up the good work. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
They're definitely lucky to have a teen center in their community.
All right.
John, I've been involved with youth sports for years and years and years, and I wish we had coaches like you, whether it's in soccer or football or basketball, whatever it is. All too often you get the coaches like the young lady was talking about in her letter to you that are yelling and screaming. It's really embarrassing for the parents, for the coaches, and for the kids. So thank you. And I wish you could teach all the coaches in our community to behave like it sounds like you do. So Sarah, I was interested that you had made the comment about funding, that the schools pay for all the costs of this. Well, that'll probably be one of the other shocks, that maybe not the students, but the students' parents, if they go on to high school and high school sports, because they're going to find out it's certainly not free in high
Right.
school sports.
That
The
is for
booster
sure.
clubs are going to bend your arm for all kinds of money. So
Right.
the fact that the schools are supporting this, I think is terrific. And just one last comment, Sarah, given our audience this evening, the improvements that we have in the back patio of the teen center, you might just briefly mention one of the improvements back there on the hard courts.
I'll actually let the senior center take that on. I mean, yes, we do have a new backyard, and yes, it does have an outdoor basketball court that does have some pickleball lines on it, but that is not an area of programming that I necessarily will get into because I work with teens, not adults. So I think there might be some talk for future something or another, but I don't know what that is.
That's going to be Dana's role.
I'm sorry.
Dana in sports is going to be taking that on.
Oh, good.
So there will be in the near future some pickleball lessons happening at the teen center during the day when the teens aren't there.
Excellent. Great.
Right, Dana?
I guess we will see.
It's getting ready to
It's
run
all,
away.
it's all in talks. Nothing has been decided or guaranteed or decided upon.
Okay,
but
anyway,
yeah.
Sarah, Jay, John, thank you so much for everything you do for the young folks in our community.
Thank
We
you.
do appreciate it.
Appreciate it.